Hey, everybody, welcome to This Board Game Life, episode number 64. I'm a little slow today with the stuff here. My name is Rob. I am one of your fine hosts for today, and with me, as always, I got my good buddy Mark.
Hey, Rob, how you doing? And hello to the listeners. It's
Hello.
2024. Can you believe it?
2024. And speaking of 2024, the title of this show is Most Anticipated in 2024. So that gives you a hint about what we're going to talk about in a little bit. But yeah, it's I can't believe that 2023 is already in the books. It seems like it went by super fast. Even though
It did.
when I think about it, there was like a lot of stuff that happened in between, lots of good times, lots of events. Gen Con, right? A
Oh,
couple of
yeah.
days when we were down in Indy, and man, that was even like so how long ago was that? That was
August 1st.
like, yeah, almost 5 months ago. Yeah. So time flies when you're having fun.
Yes.
That's for sure.
That's what happens when you're playing bunches of games.
Exactly.
Oh,
It time warps.
and what I
You
forgot
could
to
say
tell you
something.
this.
What's that?
So, I when I was looking at my stats for the year, I realized I was like, my Gloomhaven numbers don't look right. And it was because a couple of times I had put it down as like 2 rounds because we played like 2 different campaigns or 2 complete missions, if you will, and it only tracked it like 1 play. So I had to
Uh,
go back and correct that into
you
all of
had to.
those. I
Had
had
to.
to, and it bumped my numbers up a bit. So I ended up at 393 plays on the year at 145 different games. I gained like 3 more plays
Nice.
that were just not tracking the way I like it to track. So
Yeah.
I like, because in the stat app, if you put like, say you're playing something quick like Six Nymph, and you're like, oh, you played it like 2 or 3 times, and you say, oh, you put it in there like 3 plays, or you did 3 rounds. Well, it tracks it as like a single play. So
hmm
I have to put one one round every time I play. That way I know how many times I actually played a game. So I got 3 more bonus games there out of the year.
Very nice.
So
So it's you know your playing of games in itself was gamified,
exactly.
which is a beautiful
And
thing.
it is.
So
Everything's a game.
so wait, should you even count that? The
Ooh.
gamification of counting or tracking your gameplays? Huh. That's something to think about.
I gotta answer the phone. Go keep us busy.
Keep going, keep going. All right. So here, I'll start off with what I've been playing so far this year. It's been so we're talking right after, like right now, it's just a little bit after New Year's. So a lot of family holiday stuff for me. A lot of busy times. Haven't quite had a whole ton of time to play games, but during a Christmas event that's a little bit later than normal. It was actually 2 days ago. Got in a couple of games of No Thanks. So when I go to like holiday stuff, I used to bring games. I'd always have them in the car because you always have hope, right? You always have hope that you can get people to play with you. It's like, hey guys, I just happen to have a game. We're bored. Let's play a game after we've all had our dinner. So um, I've since stopped bringing big games, big boxes, because that would usually lead into like a little bit of a mania, right? So it's like maybe I'll bring like, I don't know, Azul, and then, well, this person likes this kind of stuff. Maybe, they like cars. So it's like, maybe I'll bring Thunder Road. And then, instead of bringing just one game or two games, something that's manageable, you wind up bringing five or six. And in the end, most of the time, you probably play none anyway. Because they're like, board games? What are you, a nerd or something? I don't know. But
Yeah.
so what I've been doing lately is I'll just bring like a couple of card games. I mean, they're discreet. I can just leave them in my jacket. I don't need to go out to my car, especially like, it's cold outside now. It's like it's snowing right now. It's supposed to be a pseudo snow apocalypse right now, and we got like an inch of snow when my son was showing me on Apple weather that it was going to be 9.5 inches. They were like
Nice.
8.5 inches off. But yeah, but well, I guess if they say it's 1 inch, that doesn't get the clicks
Right.
and the ad revenue of 9.5. But anyway, yeah. So I wound up bringing point salad over to my family event, and no thanks. We've played point salad before, but yeah, we didn't get that to the table this time, and we just played a little bit of no thanks, which surprisingly went well. Um, bunch of older folks that aren't used to playing games regularly or at all, really, and it was a little confusing at first because have you taught your mom no thanks?
Yes.
Yeah. So,
She's really good at it too.
oh, nice. But it's like when you're first getting into it, like people don't get it. Like they don't, they're like, how am I supposed to build the card decks? In the like I'll call it the tableau in front of you. It's like,
Yeah.
how am I supposed to do it? And I what? Make runs of them and scoring what? How does that work? And it's like it blows their mind, and it's like just play it. But the thing is, once everybody gets it, it turns out to be surprisingly fun, and the games can go rather quickly, and it's always a good thing when people are like, yeah, let's play again. So that's much better than, hey, I'm gonna go lay down on the sofa and watch TV or something. But yeah, I think that was about it for me. I did do some. I had mentioned that I was going to do the Oniverse games, so I was doing some messing around with those, and I'll be prepared to talk about those. Maybe I'll commit to doing it next show. I'll do the first batch, and yeah, yeah. Actually, the thing about Onirim, which is the first in the series, is that I have the original Z-Man print run of that, which comes in the same size box as um, like no thanks. You know what I'm talking about? So like six Nimmt, no thanks. That
Uh-huh.
little flat box that's a little bit bigger than a deck of cards. And
Yeah.
so after that, they switched to this like bigger rectangular box, which has a lot more room inside, and it's starting to bug me now that I have the original version and it doesn't
Mhm.
match the rest. So it actually crossed my mind, should I get the new version? Just so it matches. But Onirim has like what I'll call a shuffling problem for me, where it's like you wind up shuffling the cards like a million times. So I sleeved all my cards to make shuffling easier. And since they're sleeved, they definitely don't fit in that original box anymore. So
I do not
it's,
find sleeved cards easy to shuffle.
oh
I
yeah,
find
yeah.
them a lot harder.
No, no. What you do is like you split the deck in half. Okay, for example, and depending on the sleeves, like I really liked the Fantasy Flight. I'll call them premium air quote sleeves. They were rather rigid. They're not like flimsy like cellophane or
Okay.
like some of them are like really thin. They were very thick, and you can just like push them into each other. Does that make sense? So you take each deck and you kind of like put them side by side, and you can just like push them into each other because the sleeves kind of like go in between each other. And
Okay.
yeah, so it's just a matter of just splitting, push them into each other, split, push. So you don't have to riffle, shuffle them or anything like that. And it helps me with sleeving. But yeah, Onirim is like it's a shuffling. It's shuffling madness. You have to keep shuffling this deck all over. Maybe this is a spoiler of what I'm going to talk about when I talk about Onirim. Maybe I shouldn't have gone into my little mini rant here. But anyway, enough of that. So what have you played?
um, I got some more Gloomhaven in. Our group after the holidays is got restarted again, and I actually have retired a character. I
Oh
was
wow.
the oh what was I? Okay, drawing a complete blank at the moment. Um, Gloomhaven care. Let me look it up real quick. Completely. I was the spell weaver. That's what I was. And we ended up I had a card that said, once you complete 4 boss scenarios, you're going to retire your character. So just as that character was starting to get good, I had to retire it. But I'm now playing as what's called the Doomstalker. And oh boy, I really like this character.
Oh nice.
Just it's still a ranged character like Spellweaver was, but I can put basically I can doom enemies and like basically when I mark them, then everyone else that attacks them, like there's all these different things it does. Like they'll either take damage at the start of their turn, or everyone else gets +1 damage to them if they attack them, and all or if they die, then all the enemies around them take +3 damage when they die. It's things like that, and it's really cool. I really like the Doomstalkers, so it really kind of like just I've only played one game with it with that character, and it was just like, oh man, I'm in love. I love this character. I can't wait to play more. So super fun.
Nice.
I played Welcome to Your Neighborhood, but we played the Winter Wonderland theme. I'm not sure if you're aware of these. Like, I guess you could call them expansions.
Okay.
It's a You still use the cards from the original game, but you get a new pad of paper that you write on, and it comes with this one had a like one card that explained like how you played differently. It added Christmas lights, and there was a way that you could make Christmas light strings between the houses, and but it depended on how you numbered your homes. And then there was 3 new what are they called? Um, there's like those bonus cards, those challenge cards or whatever that sit out, and like the first one to get that one complete gets. I think they're called contracts, I believe. And the first person to get it done gets like 10 points or whatever, and then you flip the card over, and everyone else gets like half the amount of points if they're able to complete that contract. So it has 3 new cards with that, fitting the theme, and it was fun. It was a nice little twist on that. Um, Got to play some more Planet Unknown. And I also played some more Kingdom Builder. So, one of my buddies brought. So I remember I told you in our last show that I played this. Um, I think I. Oh, maybe I didn't. Oh, maybe I didn't
Was
go
it
back
the
far
last
enough.
show, or I think,
Actually, I
or
don't
was
think.
it when we were talking?
Oh,
I
it
think we're
wasn't. It was when we were
yeah,
talking. Oh,
yeah.
I played more games than I have on my list. That's right. I was talking to you, not on the show. So I got to play Kingdom Builder, for the first time on New Year's Eve. And then one of the other guys in our group actually has the game with a bunch of expansions and stuff. And so I was like, hey, can you bring that to game night? And he's like, absolutely. So we had like a full group of 6 people
Oh
playing
wow.
it. And boy, was it different than when it was just 2 of us.
Oh, that's
so,
right. Because yeah, I remember you made that comment about when it
so,
was two. Yeah.
yeah, I do. Excuse me. I do like the game. It is, and I think I'll probably be asking him to bring it again, probably sometime soon. So looking forward to playing more of that. Got to
Was
play
was it more challenging with people in your way?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
I only ended up with like one of the those little bonus tokens that you get that you
Okay.
try to grab as quick as possible. By the time it came around to me again, it's like there's none left, or what was left, someone had circled completely so no one could get to it to get the second one.
Yeah.
I was like, rude.
I
So
know. Yeah.
yeah, it was definitely played very different. So really neat game for being like it's interesting because like there's really not a lot to it, but yet there is, if that makes any sense.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
You know,
it's not complex, but there's still interesting decisions. Like,
it can be
yeah.
complex. It
Well,
can, but it can be based on what people are doing. Like, so yeah, it's you flip a card and you put 3 settlements, your 3 little houses on that matching landscape. That's it. Like
yeah.
that's the game in its basic form.
And they have to
But
touch. Like,
and
yeah,
they have to
that's
touch,
continuous. Yeah.
yeah. But then it's like the with the different like getting the 3 different cards. It's like okay, here's your goals you're trying to do in this game, and they change every game because there's a bunch of different goal cards. But and then the bonuses, like, do you want to run it out quick? Are you try, or you want to trying to max your points? What are other people doing? Are you going to block someone? Are you, there's so much like strategery, like to say, going on in
Sure.
this game. So that's where it's like the game is easy to play, very easy to learn.
Hmm.
But I think learning it to play it from that strategic viewpoint, it's like chess, like thinking
Yeah.
several moves ahead.
Hmm.
Chess is not a hard game to learn, but it can be very hard to play depending on who you're playing, what their level is. And that's the thing, like, that's why I'm saying it can be a hard game from that aspect of you really need to think several moves ahead and you can't really do anything. And then it's like, okay, I'm going to go here. You have 1 card. It's like, I'm going to go here. This is all I can really do. By the time it gets around to
Hmm.
you, the board's changed. It's like, okay, now what? So it's really cool. I really do. I dig it. I really like it.
Nice.
So, we also played Cascadia Landmarks. So glad to get. I got to play that a couple of times this past week. I really enjoy Cascadia. The landmarks is adds a really kind of a neat aspect to it and some additional ways to score. It can complicate, I think, a little bit. It can be, um, it's great. It adds 2 more players, so you can now play 6, which we did this last Wednesday, and it played really well. But again, when you've got 6 people, it's like, oh, there's my fish. It comes out, after you take your tiles, and then there's the fish that comes out that you wanted. It ain't going to be there by the time you get back to you with 6 people.
Yeah.
So that's the tough part about having more people in the game. But it played real well. The landmarks add some kind of a unique scoring options, and um, the 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 group is still out on whether it's beneficial to use those or not. They're kind of they're interesting because they really make you kind of figure out, do I want to take this? Is it going to benefit me to place this landmark as opposed to one of the animals which I'm scoring? Which one's going to do me better? And um, some of the landmarks I think aren't very good in the score category. They're not really going to benefit you a whole lot, but then others can, depending on how you play your tiles. So it's really cool. And it does fit into the base game. It just merges right in with the base game. You don't have to play with the landmarks. So the landmarks basically have these little wooden components that have the landmarks on them, and then there's some cards, and you could just not play with those and play the base game with all the additional tiles. It adds a bunch more tiles and stuff like that, but and some new scoring cards. But you can play that just like the base style if you want with 6 people. So that's really nice the way it works out. I did complete. Okay, before I get to this, let me save this one for last. I played some Skull King, um, more dice cards. I did get to play Sagani some more, which is a new favorite of mine. And then I did. In fact, let me look. I got to look at something. Why I got to see if because I didn't go back far enough on my list. Let's see if there was anything else. Oh, so I also played Bonsai. So that's it's like you're building like a bonsai tree. It's actually a really good game. You got a pot and you've got like wood tiles, leaf tiles, flower tiles, fruit tiles, and then there's ways to score, and you can only place your tiles in connected to certain things. And then there's cards that you're flipping, and you're taking a card, and some cards will let you take multiple other tiles, and you got a limit on tiles, and there's a limit to what you can play, so that you want to add cards that let you play more like leaves or more wood during your turn, or there's other cards that you can grab that let you hold. Like you start out, you can only have 5 tiles on hold at a time, but you can get these tools which allow you to hold 7 or 9 or 11, whatever, at a time, and then you can play a bunch at once. And there's helper cards and master cards and points, point cards that you can get that will give you bonus points at the end. But it was a really fun game. Enjoyed playing that, and I think that's really it since our last episode. Unless we did play What's That One? That's a new trivia game that I got in a Kickstarter recently. But outside of that, I did complete Ticket to Ride Legends of the West with my kids.
Nice.
My 2 oldest are now back in school. My daughter went back Friday, and my son went back last night. He got there early this morning, so out to DC. But we did complete it, and I have some really mixed feelings about it. Now, this was the first, I would say, I guess, legacy game. I've done campaign games,
Right.
but this is the first legacy game that I have played.
And I think you went into it not fully realizing what a legacy game is either, right? Kind of.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I think we talked about this on the last show, so I
Yeah.
won't go into that about destroying your game. But I'll
A
say
lot
this.
of people
So
have issue with that, by the way.
yes, I discovered I do have another legacy game that I didn't realize was a legacy game during my grabbing up of everything Clank.
Acquisition
So
disorder.
yes, and Acquisitions
Literally.
Incorporated actually
Yes. Your
is
acquisition disorder of Acquisitions Incorporated.
so I have another game, and I was watching some game night last night. I was watching them play, and they were ripping their cards when they were done with them.
Mhm.
And I'm like, and one of them was just like, no, it was like had such a hard time with it. and they kept telling her like, look away, look away. As they're ripping up the cards. And I'm just like, oh, I could probably those I could just put off to the side. I don't need to shred the cards, but you're gonna add stickers to the map and the board and stuff like that. So I do have another one, and my kids and I will go through it. We're gonna play it this summer when they come home from school. We will get through that one, and I actually have 2 expansions for that as well. And but we'll play it because I already have it. I don't know. I don't think I would get another legacy style game. The so here's the thing. Did I enjoy the 12 campaign story driven campaign? Yes. It was really cool. It was neat. It was exciting that it's like I didn't even care like who won the game. Like it was more of like every time you're playing, there's something new was added and some things were
Like a
taken out when
twist, kind
certain
of.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the board got bigger. There was new things to do, things that I have never seen in a Ticket to Ride game. And that whole thing was really fun. We really enjoyed it. It had some really cool stuff to it. And I did like that whole aspect of how it always was changing. But the game was very expensive. I paid 120 for this game. Maybe others can get it cheaper. I
Okay.
did buy it at a a very local mom and pop. And I know their
So that's
prices are
list
higher.
price. List
I
price, probably.
It's probably list price. Yeah. I
Yeah.
didn't do like Amazon or something. I really like these people and I like to support them. And
Sure.
I've spent a lot of time gaming in their shop after hours. But um, so maybe I paid a little more, but still, I probably didn't pay. Even if it was someone else gets it for 100, or even $80, right? I have a problem when it's like destroying things, and I won't say much, but I really struggled with that. And you know, my thoughts were, oh, it's a campaign. And I'm thinking of like Zombicide. Like, there's a campaign, Deep Rock Galactic, there's a campaign. You go through, they have missions, they lay it out. That's not what this was. And those are very different games. So I was very taken aback that they're basically you are going to destroy parts of your game because you will never use them again because it's intended to go through this campaign one time. And I always thought, oh, the kids and I can run through it, and then I can take it to my game group and then get a group and we can run through it. Nope, you cannot. It even states that on their site. And I think in the rule book, this is not designed to be replayed this way. Um, at the end, though, you do have a board that is unique because you basically designed it and there is an end game that can be replayed. But the majority of the cool factor won't be in the final version because that's all story stuff.
Right.
And so it's like, well, if I'm going to play Ticket to Ride, why would I pull this one out? I honestly think we'd pull Rails and Sails or the original game out as opposed to this one. So that's where it's like I don't know if it was worth it. I I have a hard time with this one because of the cost. It was so expensive to. Now, on the other hand, my daughter made a comment of, "Well, we did play 12 games. What other games do we own that we've played 12 times?"
That's
And that's a
true.
very valid point. And if I look at it like, okay, well, I paid $120 and we played 12 games, it was only $10 a game. And some of those games were a couple hours long. At the beginning, they're a lot shorter. Like your first game will probably be about 30 minutes.
Okay.
But they do get longer as you go. At the end, they were about 2 hours. And so I could look at it that way and say, well, we had a lot of fun. It was a neat experience. We break it down. We did play 12 times, so we only paid about $10 per time. That's not bad, you know.
Right.
Um, so on that aspect, it was really cool. It was unique. But if someone asked me if it was worth the money, I would be very open. What I'm saying right now, I would try to get it on sale. Don't buy a used copy. I will tell you that. Do not buy a used copy of this.
Yeah.
You might find these at the Goodwill or something or thrift stores or something. Don't, because if it's been played, you can't play it again. But if you can buy it somewhere down the line on a sale, it would probably be worth it if you could get a good, price reduction. But if you have every other Ticket to Ride and you have one that you guys already enjoy, I don't see you probably playing it much after you do the campaign. So
Right. Right.
I it's a toss up for me. It really is, because I know you were saying it's not one and done, but I do feel like it's one and done.
No,
Yes, we
I know what
can
you're saying.
play it some
Yeah.
more, but and I will say this: there was something that was, and I'm not going to say what it is, but at the very end, there was something that was very cool to my kids and I. That was one of those, oh wow, cool moments. That And that's the thing with this game. It's like there was a lot of really cool moments which made it super fun. But it's like it's over. Now it's just a Ticket to Ride game.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's as long as people know that, I thought that the going through it was well worth it and very fun. It's
Yeah.
just,
It's an experience. Yeah.
yeah. And you have
And
to, it would, if I had known that ahead of time, that would have probably helped me. I just didn't realize that's what it was. That's my stupidity and just buying crap and not knowing what it is. Oh, it's Ticket to Ride.
yeah.
This is campaign. Look cool. It'll be fun. It wasn't what I thought it was. So,
And we can always use the movie excuse of, how much is it going to cost for you to take your whole family to a movie nowadays, right? With
well, it was cheaper
like,
than going to a movie for 2 hours with all my family. Yes,
yeah,
and
exactly.
we got how many hours? So, and that's the thing. So for about the price of taking the family to the movies, I spent. We got. Oh,
Like at
that's not
least
even
10
all the
hours,
time.
right? At least 10
It
hours.
was. I want to say it was. I think we ended up at like 19 total or something.
Okay.
Um, so it was about 10 hours for 8 plays, and then we added another four.
Hmm.
10, 11, 12, another four at about two each, so another 8 hours. So I think it was around, 18, 19 hours or something total. So, and that was including my little breakdown there when it wanted me to damage something,
Yeah.
which I say damage, but it was appropriate with the theme of the game. so so really, yeah. I mean, and if I break it out by hours, that's even cheaper. You know, it's going to
There you
be
go.
so. It was
What a
definitely,
value.
yeah, it was definitely better than going to a movie.
Hey, and
And the snacks at home were free because they were already there.
yeah. And we could say that once you're done, if you have your mentality with the game, you can reclaim shelf space. Oh, priceless.
That much money, it's not going, it's gonna get, if it's sitting on the floor here, I need to find a shelf to put it on. The problem is it's so freaking big.
Yeah, it's a big box.
Yep. So it'll get a spot.
Okay.
So,
Nice.
but anyways, that's what I've been playing.
Okay, awesome.
3 hours later.
3 hours later. So, the title of the show is, what is or most anticipated of 2024. At least that's what I think it was, right? Yeah, most anticipated in 2024. And how do you want to do this? You want to just flip flop with our list? And mine's in no particular order. I apparently don't
Mine
like to do
is.
things in particular orders. Really?
No, you don't.
Okay, fine. I will. I'll do mine in order then. But
Mine's from mine. I'm reading from bottom to top.
I gotcha. Okay. But
So
yeah, just let's go through the games that we're most anticipating that'll be out hopefully this year. I mean, you never know. Stuff can push, right? Crazy stuff happens in the world.
it never happens.
Yeah. Yeah, like one of mine, one of mine's like 2 years late now, I think, or 1 year late at least. But here, you want to start off?
Sure. So my first one that so I've got 7 games that I'm looking forward to, and my first one, several of these, like 4 of these are I've got kickstarted. 3 of them are not that I'm looking forward to when they come out. So this first one, it's Kickstarter right now. It's called Flight Plan. And this looked interesting. It's let's see. Um, they I'm looking for, like, how do I explain what this is? But you're doing it's like a world map. Think of Ticket to Ride, right? But it almost feels kind of like a Ticket to Ride game, but with the airlines. Um, so it's a game for travel enthusiasts, airline aficionados, and aspiring moguls, right? So you are gonna fly to exotic intriguing places while attempting to build a global airline empire. There you go. So instead of a train empire, I'm gonna now take it to the skies. Um, and Yeah, that's it. There's a whole bunch of routes. It's 2 to 6 players, ages 12 and up. Games should be 60 to 90 minutes, so it seems like a really good, kind of a not really long, but not too short. So, to me, this really felt like Ticket to Ride, but with airplanes, and I like aviation. So this is really up my wheelhouse, and I'm looking forward to this one. Hopefully, making it out next year.
Very nice. My game is A Message from the Stars. So this is like my number 7. And this is I'm sort of surprised that I that I chose this in some ways because it's actually like kind of a funky word game, if that makes sense. So, what's a good way to describe it? So it's basically a word game where you're humans communicating with aliens. That's kind of like the best way I can describe it. So, it can be done in a couple of different ways, cooperative, for example. And, it's just basically transmitting and decoding messages from one side to another. And my first instinct on word games is kind of like, I'll pass. I'd rather do something else. But this was just interesting enough, and it intrigued me that I thought I'd give it a chance. So it's going to be one that I'm definitely getting. I did kickstart it, and I'm kind of looking forward to it. Because there's been only a small handful of like logic deduction word games that I've ever really like had interest in, and this is one of them. So that's A Message from the Stars.
Cool. For me, my number 6 is Dog Park New Tricks expansion. So I I got into Dog Park because of the dog on the cover.
Yep,
It's such
I
a
remember
it,
that.
it's
Yep.
Yep, he looks very close to my Australian Shepherd, and he's so cute. I'm like, oh, and by the way, today's like National Australian Shepherd Day, so woohoo! So shout out to my boy Raph. Um, but so this is an expansion coming to it. It's going to add a fifth player. There's going to be more places in the park to go. They're going to have obviously more dogs, which is crazy because the original game there are so many dog cards in the game. It's insane. It is just I should look it up and see how many it is. It's crazy. So many cards. Um, and you don't even play with that many. Like, but you're always gonna have different dogs as you just keep shuffling through the list. But they're gonna put more in, um, more places in the park to explore. You can even hire a specialist trainer to help you expand your enterprise. Um, you're gonna obviously you can still learn skills and stuff like that, but the this also adds, oh, I said the fifth player that can be played with or without the new trick. So it's nice that it does add a fifth player to the base game. So that's good because I haven't got to, I think I've played this once in my game group, but our game group the other day we had 13 people show up and it's just like, it's really hard if everyone's bringing 4-player games. So we're
Yeah.
try to do 6-player games because usually we go between 8 to 12 normally, so we're always trying to get 2 tables of 6. So getting an extra player in a game like this that I want to play more of is good. But it also says that it includes a 29 card expansion pack, Dogs of the World. So again, more dogs. It's gonna have a crap ton of dogs in this game. So I don't know where I'm gonna put everything, but yeah, that's
That's a normal problem.
yeah, my Cascadia, I was able to I had to take the insert out of the box and then I was able to put everything from the base game and the expansion into a single box, but it filled it. But I had to take the insert out. So, cuz it's
Okay.
like I'm not going to carry both boxes cuz they're the same size. Both boxes are identical size and it's just like, okay. But that's my number 6.
Okay. My number six is a game called Skyrise. This is the game that I alluded to that has been delayed. Because I think I backed this one about 18 months ago, at least 2 years ago, something like that. And it's had some production delays, you know, not uncommon, I guess, for some Kickstarters. But it's going to be coming out here pretty soon. And this is a game that has like some pretty cool looking table presence, um, where it's got a lot of plastic components to it, including like parts of the board, kind of like stick up above it, and then you put these buildings on top of it, and then some of them you actually flip. Um, at parts of the game that you like flip them upside down. So it's kind of like
Oh wow.
this funky. I don't know what you call it. Like it reminds me of like the video game BioShock kind of.
BioShock Infinite.
Infinite, yeah.
Yeah.
It's got like the blimps, dirigibles, whatever you want to call them, and stuff. And like I said, it's got some pretty cool table presence and lots of plastic, which caused caused the delay. But I'm really looking forward to this one. They are wrapping up production, so hopefully it's going to be in my hot little hands, the next couple months, and hopefully it doesn't push into 2025. It does not look like it's going to, but Skyrise is uh,
That
is
looks
my jam.
interesting. I'm looking
Yeah,
at the images now. Very interesting. Cool.
yeah, and
All
I
right.
I wound up getting the collector's edition,
Of course.
so of course, because that's the one that has the the really cool. Like, did you see the pictures of like the of like the platforms sort of on the
Yes.
board where it's like raised
Yeah.
up above and they like interlock, and then like tons of buildings. Yeah, it's like very like Art Deco kind of stuff, and yeah, looking forward to it.
All right. Number five for me is Bang Legends. We our game group loves Bang the Bullet, and this is basically it's an expansion, but it lets you play as legendary version of the classic Bang characters. So it looks like you actually swap out the 16 characters in the base game with these legendary versions. And it comes with some feats and wooden fame tokens and stuff. So it's going to change the game, I guess, with some enhanced abilities and stuff. So I'm definitely going to get this and bring this to game night when it arrives because Bang is so much fun. Hopefully, this will be a good expansion. Some of the expansions have not been that great, but I'm going to get it anyways because I own it all. I do love me some Bang.
Mhm. Okay. Uh, my next one is a game with the simple name of Pax Illuminaten. Yeah, this is another game in the PAX series of games, which, man, it started off with, I think it was the first one, PAX Porfiriana. It was like this huge game in this tiny little box. This box was literally like 4 inches by 4 inches, and then maybe like an inch and a half tall, maybe 2 inches. But it had like a killer rule book. By no means was it like, I'll say, a simple game, but it's like everybody that played it freaking loved it. And then it was followed up by PAX Renaissance, PAX Premier. They all came out with like a couple of like second release reprint versions. And I wonder if Greenland. I don't know. I don't think Greenland was part of it because it would be PAX Greenland if it was. I'm looking at the list here. Yeah, PAX Viking, PAX Transhumanity, PAX Renaissance, PAX Porfiriana, PAX Pamir, PAX Illuminaten, which is the current one. Oh, there's going to be PAX Hispanica and PAX Emancipation was out in 2018. But anyway, so yeah, that's a whole bunch of games that are part of the series. But they are very like dry games. I'll say that, but very historical, and I just like the PAX series a lot. And it's as soon as there's a new game with PAX in the name, I immediately go see if it's part of the series, and if it is, I'm immediately intrigued by it. So my number five is PAX Illuminaten, which is due this year.
Cool. Number four for me is Dwarf Romantic the Duel. This is it's it's not it's not an expansion, but you can I think it's basically they call it like a companion. It's the game is allows your two players or two teams to compete. And if you have two copies of the game, four people can play. So it takes Dorf Romantic, which is a cooperative game, and turns it into make it a competitive. Turns it makes it a competition. But I believe they say that the basic principles retained, but now, yeah, you both sides are continuing to expand their own landscapes. So you're going to basically have two maps or boards that you're building. But I believe that I thought this maybe this is yeah, I don't think it merges with the original game. It is just a separate game. Um a game all of itself. So you don't need the original or anything, I don't believe. Everything I'm seeing on the pictures is all in what do you call it in German? Because it's not out in the States yet.
Okay.
But Dorf Romantic is such a great fun title.
And the video game's pretty decent too.
Oh,
You should
you
check.
play
You
the
should
video
check.
game?
Oh yeah, yeah, I got it. I'm pretty sure I talked about it. Yeah, you might want to check it out. It's on Steam. It's actually
Yeah.
not that expensive. It's cheaper than a board game.
That's what the board game's worth it.
Yeah.
So it just says for fans of Dorf Romantic, the game comes with 7 tiles of the new task types and 4 new special tiles, including components necessary to take on these new challenges and cooperative play. So I don't know for sure if it's like the base game's required or not. I'm trying to find this out. I think it's a separate game, as the way I understand it. Um, I don't see anything. Oh, here's an English version. It's based on the original game, so no, this is a separate, completely separate. It just basically makes the game competitive, yeah, in team play. So I'm definitely going to grab this when it shows up. Our team, our game group loves this game.
Understandably so.
All
Okay. My next one is my number 4 is Through the Desert. This is a reprint of an old game by Reiner Knizia. I don't even know how old it is now. Maybe like 15, 20 years, if not older. But it's a new and improved version coming out this year. Uh, I think All Play is the one that's yeah, All Play is the one that's reprinting it, and looks much improved. Through the Desert is um, just basically you're building camel caravans through the desert. That's the name, and you're leading your camels to water and oases and stuff. Um, the components are vastly better than the original. It just looks cool. Like you got your little camel, your little camel figures. Then some camels have like dudes sitting on them, and it's just classic gameplay. And when you first look at the board, it's just like a bunch of hexes on a desert. I immediately think of Kingdom Builder, where when you look at the board, you're like, I am not impressed. But the gameplay's fun, and this is one that even though I've got the original, the OG game, it's like I have no problem getting the new updated version. And I think this updated version comes with like 4 additional expansions or something like that. So there's a bunch of new content in there as well, in addition to just getting like the redone game. So that is my number 4, Through the Desert.
right. Um, I'm gonna pass on my number 3
Go ahead. You talk.
because
Okay. Okay.
I'm gonna pass on it for now.
So
I'll say
so
something
you
on it
can say
later.
my number 3 comes up later in this list, and we'll talk about it then.
I'll explain it. Yeah.
Okay.
So
So then my number 3 is a game that I was actually pleasantly surprised, I guess is one way to put it, to find out that that it's coming out, not that it came out, but it's called New Frontiers: The Starry Rift. And let me see when, if I have any better info, if this is going to be coming out like earlier rather than later. That doesn't say. But so New Frontiers is a really awesome game. So actually, let me take a step back. So there's this game called Race for the Galaxy. That's a really cool card game, and they took that core mechanic of that game. It's an old game. I don't really know. I don't think it's as popular anymore as it used to be. But about 5, 6 years ago, they came out with New Frontiers, which is in the Race for the Galaxy universe, and uh, they basically kind of like one upped the gameplay and just like added a whole bunch of stuff to it. what an ex- what a great description, isn't it?
You
But
have so drawn me in.
yeah, so like it took a card game and it made it basically into a board game, and it was like really well done. And what I was going to say was is that there hasn't been any real content for this game that's been out in a while, at least that I've noticed. So, to see that they're adding this Starry Rift, we'll call it like add-on expansion to the game, is a pleasant surprise. So it's going to add 16 home worlds, 10 developments, 13 worlds, and 8 goals to expand the base game, and also 6 solo campaigns. So that's like the main thing that I'm kind of interested in. I don't know how much I'm going to be able to get this into, like to be able to play it with other people, but I'm really looking forward to checking this out as an add-on, and I believe this was supposed to be coming out for a couple of years, and then the pandemic kind of pandemicked it. So yeah, release finally in 2024, maybe like at least 3+ years late, and looking forward to it.
Cool. All right. Next on my list at number 2 is Dice Throne, X-Men, Marvel Missions, Co-op, and Deadpool. The whole shebang. This is a Kickstarter. I absolutely love Dice Throne, and this is it was tough between this one and my number one. Really tough as to which one I'm more more excited by. This actually probably should be in my number one, to be honest with you. Um, I will probably get to play this one more often, but I'm really looking forward to more Dice Throne with X-Men characters, and then I ordered the mission pack, which is it's like the original Dice Throne has their adventures, so it's like a cooperative campaign that you can go through with people together playing Dice Throne. And the missions is instead of it being like it's the same concept, but it's completely revamped. It's not um, it's just designed differently than what the previous adventures was. And then I also get the additional character of Deadpool, so I've got like 9 new characters coming, and I'm just super stoked and excited for that. That's going to be a big box when it arrives, and I'm just cannot wait to get this in my hands. So very, very excited by this.
Okay, and my number two, which appeared earlier on your list, is Thunder
At
Road
number
Vendetta,
3,
the Carnival of Chaos. Did
I
I say did I
I
say that
didn't want to
good?
say yeah, I didn't want to say it because I wasn't even aware of this until you sent me the link when we were getting ready to go live. And I
Yeah,
was like, "Oh, heck yeah." So it immediately went to number 3 on my list.
yeah.
But I was like, "That almost isn't fair. Rob needs to announce this cuz it was you told me about it." So,
hmm
but this is my number 3. But yes, tell us more, Rob.
So this is an expansion add-on to Thunder Road Vendetta. where it's going to be adding, where's the list here? A new way to play, which I'm really interested in. So I'm really wondering how they're going to mix things up a little bit, right? Because the regular gameplay of Vendetta is actually pretty good. So I'm guessing that they're streamlining something or just making it a little bit more interesting, and they're going to add a fifth player set of vehicles. So what does that mean? Like one extra helicopter and three extra cars, which I would think would be an easy thing to add. But they got to add a new color, right?
Yep.
Well, actually, no. Then they have to add the boards. Yeah, so okay, so it's a little bit more than just some plastic. But yeah, in addition to this, they're gonna do the Maximum Chrome Edition. I believe that's what it was called, right? That's the one
Yeah.
that you got. Yeah, so that
Yep.
one has like a ton of add-ons and stuff like that. So that's going to be coming out at the same time. So I think this is gonna yeah, it's gonna be a Kickstarter coming up here sometime soon, and you'll be able to grab the Maximum Chrome Edition if you missed that earlier this year. So that is my number two. Um, Thunder Road Vendetta, Carnival of Chaos.
All right. And then my number one is actually um, an expansion. so, and it's Deep Rock Galactic Space Rig and Biome expansions. I absolutely love the Deep Rock Galactic. I played the video game. I was playing it earlier today. I love the video game. I love the board game. I was thinking today, it's like I actually went and bought some stuff. I went and got different paint sets and some primer, and I'm gonna start painting this. I'm gonna start painting my minis, and
Wow.
I really want to do the paint these guys, but I'm also gonna start sitting down. I think even if I just have to run through this by myself, I'll just play two characters, and I want to run through the campaigns and get into this more than I have been able to so far. So um, I really love Deep Rock. I think they translated the game to the table just incredibly well. I remember when I heard about this, I was like, how did they do that? Like you couldn't. It's still like
Yeah.
I'm there. Even though they've proven it with the first game, this expansion they're going off of things from the video game, and I'm like, how are we going to do that? I'm like, how are we going to put this in the game? It's just but they have done an amazing job in the original game, and I am so stoked for some rock and stone.
For rockin'
Um,
stone to the bone.
you know it. So I that's my number one. Again, this is tough between this and the Dice Throne. I could have put either one of these in the same spot. I mean, really, these guys are both my number ones, but I just have such a passion for this game that you introduced me to the video game. That it's just, yeah, I'm really excited to get more of this great in the just this great game. I want more. So
Nice. Yeah, and fantastic game, both video and board, by the way.
yeah,
All right, and my number one is going to Undaunted 2200 Callisto. For some reason, I want to say Callisto Protocol, but that's like a video game. But
yeah.
yeah, Undaunted 2200 Callisto, and this is it's not really in the series, but kind of it is. So Undaunted had a couple of games. It's like a card board war game, sort of. And it had Normandy, and then there was an Africa one. I don't remember the name. It's escaping me right now. But they've
North
they've
Africa,
was that the name? Okay.
Undaunted North Africa.
Okay. Yes, that's it. And so they came out with those, and those they're kind of along the same lines, right? They're World War II. So they broke out of the World War II mode, and they didn't do like your typical video game franchise where it's like you break out of World War II and then you just go to Vietnam. That's the next one. But yeah, they went all sci-fi on us. So this is a standalone game using the same goodness of the Undaunted series, and they really looking forward to this. Yeah, so it's like you're playing on a lunar surface, and just dealing with high ground positions, and there's going to have some mechs, and it should be pretty interesting, and a great game. Actually, the previous games were great, and I'm hoping that this follows suit, and it's just not like a reskin of sorts where the foot soldier is now a mech, right? And this vehicle is now a lunar rover. I hope they didn't do something like that, and it's actually going to be some cool sci-fi stuff. And there's also some solo modes in here, which I'm kind of interested in as well. So my number one, Undaunted 2200 Callisto. And that's it,
Cool.
right?
That's it. Until we know more of what's coming out.
Yeah. And,
So
we'll keep our fingers crossed that these all come out here in the next 12 months or so. Because, well, like even if they don't, there's tons of stuff to play. Anyway, it's not like we're going to be out of games, but I'm really curious, and maybe we could do this, towards the end of the year, where it's like, I'm really curious to see if our most anticipated games wind up on our best of 2024 lists. Time will
they
tell. You'll have
they
to tune in.
yeah, we'll have to see.
Tune in 11 and a half months, and we'll find out. I'm curious to know. Hopefully, our listeners are too.
I'm surprised you didn't mention, and maybe you were joking earlier, but I thought you were serious about Wormspan.
No,
You don't want the Wingspan dragon version of Wingspan?
no, I'm okay. Oh, it's not about worms.
It's about dragons.
Yeah, no, yeah,
So
not excited about it. Stonemeyer games are okay. I've moved on from them. Yeah,
alrighty. Well, if you love Wingspan
yeah,
and but wish that you could play with dragons, then Wormspan, WYRM span, is coming out from Stonemeyer Games. Um, and yeah, it's basically the dragon version of Wingspan. So they do say that it's got thematic and mechanical twists, hatchling, cave guards, guilds, dragon personalities, and more differentiates it from Wingspan, but it's essentially kind of like the same style of game. So, and I believe the person that created Wingspan is involved in this as well. So it's not like they're stealing anything.
yeah.
So
And when I
I don't
said,
know. We'll see.
yeah, when I said I moved on from, I mean, I like Scythe and Viticulture and stuff like that, but it's like, yeah, the latest stuff, I just haven't had any interest in it.
I like Wingspan.
Yeah, and I've got
So
Charterstone. It's in my shelf of shame. It's like the last couple of games that I bought from them. I'm like, yeah.
eh,
So I'm hesitant to get them.
yeah,
So all right, so call it an episode there.
sounds
64
good.
in the can. All right. So thanks for listening, everybody. Catch you all in 2 weeks on the next exciting episode of This Board Game Life. I am Rob, and catch you all next time.
Mark, we'll see you at the table.